Welcome everybody to the 2024 Wet Show. My name, for those that don't know me, my name is Jeff Urbanski. I'm in charge of training here at HammerHead Trenchless. And today we're back here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And it's always a great homecoming for us to come back here, spend time with customers like yourselves, reunite with a lot of different people. Because what drives HammerHead is voice of the customer. And that voice of the customer opportunity is how we innovate and bring new products and new ideas back to the market from your job sites. And this year is like we do it every single year. And this year we're going to showcase a new product to you called Helium. And a lot of you are probably sitting there hearing the word helium going, air. What are you doing with air? Now it's not air, and it's not something we see on our periodic chart from our high school chemistry class. It is an acronym for a brand new scrim liner. Helium stands for something. HE is heat, LI is light, AM is ambient. It's the first liner of its kind that's a scrim liner that can be utilized with multiple resin systems. So from your perspective as a business owner, instead of having a series of different liners for different applications that are scrim based, whether you're doing ambient resin, a hot water or steam cure resin, or you're doing a blue light resin or even a UV resin, Helium is the first of its kind that can do and handle all those types of resin systems. It's tested by us, taken to the different labs, NSF, IAPMO, and ICCS. We do that very regularly and get that done annually so that you have the certificates with the products that we put out there to know that it meets the plumbing code and it meets all the ASTM standards that are currently in place throughout North America. So Helium's unique in that regard. It's one of the most accurate liners too. Because of the way the scrim design is, you can drop it and put it exactly where you want, just before the main or however that application might turn out for you. And because every job is different, but having accuracy means less waste. Doesn't mean there's gonna be less time on the job because you're not having to cut it back because you overshot, because it stretched too much on you. Because stretch is a challenge you have to be able to calculate and manage when you're shooting liners. But finally, probably one of the most important things that we take a lot of pride in as we have as part of the Toro company, is it's made in the USA. This liner is made in Wisconsin. It's something that you're gonna see and something that's coming from HammerHead more and more, consumables and everything that we do, whether it's a blue light system or it's a consumable made in the USA. It's very important to have that and then have all that testing, as I stated a little while ago, in your pocket to know you're getting a product that's approved and certified to be going into the ground. Without further ado, we're gonna do a live demonstration here. Joe and Kent, Joe Walsh is head of HammerHead University for us, and one of our trainers, and then Kent Wensendorf is one of our senior trainers as well. What we're gonna do is we're gonna fix this pipe as if it was damaged. So they're firing up the compressor back there, and what you're looking at is Joe's on an inversion drum, and he's adding air pressure to it. The liner is already loaded. They preloaded everything ahead of time. And they're adding air to the drum so they can start pressurizing it. Imagine that liner gets turned inside out like a sock. So it's going to slowly start to invert. You're going to see it coming through that protection hose just to make sure we get it into the hose pipe. And you can see it inverting. But when it hits the midpoint, that liner's off what we call a spindle, and it shoots out, and the rubber bands jump off. Liner's in place. That's how quick a liner can be in place. This is only a 20-foot shot today. We're shooting shots that are on average 75 to 100 feet. A lot of our installers do on a regular basis. You see the liners come down off the hose pipe wall. That looks bad. Don't worry about it. When we're using a blue light resin, this resin only reacts in the presence of blue light. What is blue light? Well, we hear about it on television all the time. You're looking at your computer screen, you need a new set of glasses to filter blue light. That's that same light that you get a filling in your tooth done. That's blue light. It cures that quickly. This is an instantaneous cure, and the resin goes from a liquid to a solid state with just being exposed to that blue light. What the guys are doing right here is they're getting what we call our calibration tube locked onto our inversion drum nozzle. Right there, that is going to be like a balloon going inside the liner. So as it looks like it's collapsed here, this thing isn't curing. It's not like a two-part resin where you're worried about once you mix the two, you got to go. When you have a two-part, you're lining with what I call a sense of urgency. When you're working with blue light, the anxiety of liner has been taken away. You don't have to worry about this. This can be cured months down the line if it really had to happen, and we have done that. What the guys are doing is now shooting the calibration tube in. It's a balloon. It's got to force the resin in the liner, stretch it out, so it gives what we call a fingerprint of the pipe. It's going to take on the characteristics of that hose pipe. Before we get all this, imagine you have to clean it. The better you prepare your pipe and clean it out and get it to as smooth as finish as possible, the better this is going to look. We want it to look like a gun barrel. That's the intention and that's the purpose. But you can see the calibration tube running down the liner, and it's going to pop out at the end there, and here it comes out now. You always want your calibration tube to go beyond your liner. Why is that? We want to make sure it stretches it and forces it out, but the light head in a minute, the guys are going to push the light head, the blue light head, down all the way to the end of the cal tube. So when we activate the light, causing what we call the blue light effect, it then begins to draw back and cure it beyond the liner. The guys are here, they're going to put a shield over the pipe. We're doing this for all of our protection. Blue light is a very intense light. It's not like ultraviolet. Ultraviolet isn't as intense. It's still, you gotta always take safety parameters and protect ourselves. This is so intense, it's like if you were watching someone weld. That's how bright the light is. Or when you're in the dentist chair, they always put the glasses on you while they're doing the filling. The same concept. We want to protect everyone here so you get the experience of watching pipe be treated before your eyes. So as the guys are getting all our filters set up and all that, what Kent's going to do, and then on the unit itself, that blue light unit, there's three sizes of light heads we have. A 144, which is designed for 3 to 4 inch. We have a 336, designed at 4 and 6 inch range. And then finally a large light head that goes all the way up to 10 inch. Each of these, because this is smart technology, the computer system knows when you plug in the unit what light head it's doing. Ken is going to push the light head down. The air now is not going through the drum. The air is now going through the light head itself, and he's going to deploy the blue light down the liner itself. What he's doing is he's observing, and if you can see, the camera is integrated into the light head, and he is watching and observing and taking a look at that liner. One of the great things about this method of lining is you can observe the liner and make sure you don't have wrinkling, you don't have other problems going on. You can see you have a good fit and finish, and push it all the way down to that knot at the end of the calibration tube. So Ken is doing an inspection, because if he did see something that he didn't like, that he didn't want to put in the ground for that customer, he could go back and pull that liner out. It's not going to cure it. We don't have any of that anxiety. We could pull it out, and then we could reshoot a different liner, or clean it, or identify the other issues that might have happened because the pipe wasn't properly prepared. At this point, we're doing what we call dwell time. We always dwell this liner for 10 minutes in the pipe. Why? We want to get that good fit and finish. We want to migrate the resin. We want to stretch the liner fully, whether we're doing a transition, a straight shot, it doesn't matter. And we want to make sure we get it in place like that. Once that's in place, Ken puts in the system. He puts in the diameter pipe we're fixing. So it's a drop-down menu. This whole thing looks like a Tesla dashboard is the best way to describe it. We want to make sure we have all green lights. There's 7 green lights you must have in order for this system to activate. It's smart technology. If any of those things are out of sync, the air pressure, the temperature, the power, all these things aren't connected, it won't allow you to start the curing. But once he has it in place, he has his diameter, his mill thickness, and his distance, and he's all good. Kent, how long is it going to take to cure this?
4 minutes, 30 seconds.
4 minutes and 30 seconds. We're going to do 20 feet. The blue light effect has occurred. So now it's activated. There are 12 banks of lights. They work off in sequence. Once they activate, then the motorized mechanism, which is our propulsion unit, starts to slowly pull back the light head at the exact rate to get a 99% or better cure. Because it's computer controlled and it's managed and monitored, it's amazing the consistency that you're getting a product that's repeatable, it's scalable for your business, and it's sustainable in getting a quality product to your customer each and every time. So as this is going, Kent's wiping down the PEX tube that is where we pushed out. Why would he do that? He's doing that because we use mineral oil, food-grade mineral oil, as a lubricant for our cal tube and our liner, so it's easier to invert it. Friction will slow it down, so we want that polymer to allow itself to open up, and we use mineral oil to do that. If you imagine an oven in your home, and you sometimes get that brown or yellowing on the glass itself. Same concept if you think about it. We want to keep things clean. A clear mineral oil will not leave that kind of residue. but we still got to do a lot of maintenance on these light heads. The light head maintenance is very important, so before and after each install, we look at the light itself. We look at the glass, we look for cracks if somehow it got damaged, we look for moisture of any type underneath it, we look to see if the diodes are still clear or if they're starting to get a little brown. We then teach and educate with our training team how to maintain and manage those light heads to get the maximum effect and to cure at the rate that the computer system knows. So this is a part of the training we do at HammerHead University, whether we're in your shop or you're visiting us in Lake Mills. We have a 5,000 square foot, 2-story structure inside that can simulate just about every single aspect of lining, but we remove water, sewer, earth, all the things that are on a job site, get to the essence of teaching. And that's what this is about. Lining is about repetition. I learned from repetition. I can't just read it and do it. You've got to experience it, you've got to touch it, you've got to handle that. And that's what our team takes a lot of pride in as we're in the field with it. We're almost halfway. We're moving right along. And that pipe is becoming solid at this end. You'll feel the heat when we pull this off. Everyone will be able to come up, touch it, and experience what's going on. It's moving pretty quick. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Another question people have is that, you know, for inversion drums, we have 2 sizes that we really offer. This one here is what we call our 225. It's got our patented quick lock door design. That one right there holds 225 feet of 4-inch pipe. That's for liner. That's a lot of liner. We have a smaller version. It's our 125, much more compact, about half the size. Obviously, holds about 125 feet of 4-inch. And really gives you an advantage in different areas. All of our stuff is cam locked. It can be moved through small doorways. It's very ergonomic because we were thinking from our customer, voice of the customer information, how to improve our systems each and every time. Give you a better product that's easier to work no matter where you go. Lights right here, we're still moving through it. In the last 2 feet, the system also sends you an alert. You'll start to send an alarm and say, hey, we're almost done curing. Get ready. And notifies the installer, hey, I'm watching this as it goes. A lot of what happens with some of our installers that are using Bluelight today, they're finding that they're taking their business that they were in lining originally, they're growing it by 2 to 3-fold. They're able to get that much extra work in the ground, producing more revenue for their business with the same crew. Because training is a challenge and hiring today is a very big challenge. So how do we effectively do that? By adding technology and some unique, innovative ways to line and create pipe. This is one of the ones that really takes a lot of the guesswork out. The computer system does it, and you only are sitting there as really kind of a co-pilot of this because it takes over once you're in place. The toughest thing is turning the liner inside out. That's really what it is. What he's doing right now, he's just watching paint dry as he pulls it back. If anyone's interested in learning about this or any other HammerHead product, you're welcome to come over to our booth. We're doing quoting. We got a lot of stuff to help you out. If you want to talk about your business, where you're at, and you're looking at other avenues to do things, whether it's water line slitting or if it's pipe bursting or if it's point repair, we're happy to talk you through those things and see how we can enhance and help your business. And finally, one thing to remember as you're doing things, we also have something unique this year. We're doing what we call Talk of the Trades. We have industry experts in our booth sharing their stories about how they've grown their business when the economy's tough and when the economy's good. And by doing that, it gives you an opportunity to ask your peers how to do these things and really enhance their business. Well, that will conclude the demo here. The last thing we normally do with this is we'll sit there and we'll take and do what we call a cool down. We'll put the light head in for another 10 minutes, cool down the pipe because it does get warm. And once that's done, we can then reinstate it immediately. So any services you have cut, you can cut right through this and reinstate. If you want to put the sewer back active immediately, you have that option. You can do that. And it's really just it's right a matter of time just getting things done. I want to thank you for your time today and enjoy the wet show. Yeah, the calibration tube?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
I got a little bigger in there. Te iba a decir que era como la esa de ese pasando